this is Titan and I'm very glad that you found your way to my second episode of Vedastein. We start this second episode by creating a river, a small river, a creek. I already said that in the last episode, in the first episode, that the next episode is going to be a bit of terraforming. And that is because I recorded the first 2 episodes, or when you also count the map editor episode, I recorded the first 3 episodes before making a trailer, and basically I wanted to be sure that I have something to show in a trailer, because I didn't want to only show the empty map, but I wanted to show a bit of done landscaping, a bit of nice nature, the beginning of the city with the station that showed in the trailer. So that's why here in the first episode I start with this river, and that's why this episode is a bit, you maybe could say it doesn't fit in the usual setting of Cities Skylines building episodes, because I build here and there just to prepare you. We start with dragging this river, this small creek, then we turn to I guess, if I remember right, to be honest, I kind of forgot it, even though I edited it. That doesn't sound quite right. I edited. The material just a few minutes ago, but Oh, there is it. Okay. Sorry. So we start with this small river, and then go on with the first highway exit. Even though there's a reason why I didn't include that in the trailer, because it is, let's say, it's not the standard of beauty or the standard of detail that this series is supposed to have, because I only plopped a few guardrails, a few highway exit signs, and that's basically it. And especially I didn't touch the lanes at all, and that looks a bit like a combination of vanilla and here look, I wanted to try to detail, and that's not what I want to go for in that series. So we maybe in the third episode, no, in the fourth, it would be the fourth, we might rebuild this interchange, this highway exit, with a proper design, so to say. Now what we're doing here on the map, that's, as I said, I just drag this creek. You see my method. I placed the road. Was it 7 meters below the surface level, I guess, to have the level of the water, and be sure that it is smooth, and that the resolution of the water is, let's say, able to really flow, because you actually can see it here, these weird waves, and I still don't understand why. But in the end, I was pretty happy with how the river turned out. Because at the end I got the hang of it. Is that right to say? I got the hang of it? Let's hope so. How to do it so that it looks nice. Then something I'd like to say about this valley here. In the real world, this is the valley of the Bila. That's a small river that flows into the Elbe in real life, and here it would flow into the Veda. I guess we also would call it Bila here in the game, as the region is based on the real region. I think that's quite nice. If you have another what's the word? If you have another name, then you might suggest it. It's no problem. And we might think about it. Or we will think about it. There will be 2 of these small rivers that flow through the city. One of them will flow directly through the old town. I have some really nice ideas with old buildings next to it, small buildings, and above the river will be a castle. And I'm really looking forward to all that because you have to imagine I have so much ideas about the city, what it will look like, and so. Now here in the next scene, maybe you could call it, we are building this, or we are decorating the first highway exit, and I start with dragging a few of lane lines. Is it the right word? Lane lines? I think that's not even the word in German. A few lines, yeah, and yeah, it could have been so much better. But in the end, please don't ask me why I didn't do it better. To be honest, I don't know. Later in this episode, we'll decorate where a road and a rail cross. What's the okay. I have sometimes I struggle to find the right word, but actually that's good because that's what as I already said, I want to train this this spontaneous talking in English. So I hope you're not annoyed by my struggling. Actually, at the moment it's quite funny to do it. So I hope you don't mind. And if yes, well, I think you have to get over it, or maybe just mute the video if that's an option. Yeah, here I'm placing a few typical highway exit signs for Germany, because as I said, or as I already mentioned in the first teaser to the series, that will be the most German city you'll ever see in Cities Skylines. Except I maybe do a second or third German city. Who knows? But for now, that's for now that will be the most German city, because I try to place as many typical German signs and all that, traffic signs, road signs, like you can see here on the highway exit, and some later on some. Okay, now I really don't know what the word is, but you'll see. Yes, I had a really big problem while building this episode, because I don't know what the reason was, but I did all of the thing you can see here. I plopped all the props, and later on I figured, oh, I forgot to download prop snapping. So I downloaded it, I activated the mod, and I had a very strange bug, because when I zoomed in, when the camera came closer to props, they just disappeared. I don't know why, but they just were gone. And I tried everything, tried to find out what mod causes this. In the end, it seemed to me that prop snapping doesn't work with props that were placed before activating the mod. Actually, that doesn't make a lot of sense, because when the mod firstly came out at first, there were no problems like this, but still, that's how I could fix it. So I again deactivated the mod or disabled the mod and deleted all the props I placed in the first episode. And then I reactivated the mod and found the map without any props, so I had to replace all of them. So it might be that at the end in the cinematics there are props that aren't in the place I plopped them, or there are no props where I plopped them here in the time-lapse. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, it wasn't possible to do it in another way. And some places I thought it might be good to to make them better. For example, on the it's the real world whale crossing where a street crosses a whale, because it would make sense. Yes, so on this, let's call it whale crossing, I thought it would make more sense if the street makes a curve. You later on will see what I mean. And so I did it a bit different compared to the time-lapse. But I think it was a good idea, because in the end it looks good. And I guess, if I remember correctly, also the meadow grass I propped here, actually that would be the more fitting word for placing props. Not plopping, but propping. Anyway, I guess I also didn't plop them, or prop them, when I weeded the whole area, but I'm not really sure. We'll see at the end of the video. And yeah, you hear I'm talking. Besides, in the last episode I said, well, that's enough talking because it's hard. Now you can hear it actually really is hard, but I really have to train it. You know, the first reason for me to make videos was that I want to train my English, because I thought I have these problems with speaking spontaneously, and in the middle of this year, in the summer, I have my final exams, and I have an oral English exam where I also have, of course, to talk spontaneously. And I thought my English might not be good enough for that. So I thought, how could I train it? Speaking to English people would be a solution, but yeah, where do you find English people in Germany that would be willing to talk to you? What would you talk to them? What would you talk with them about? Yeah. And so I figured, I like Cities Skylines. I would love to publish my cities, because I spend so much time building and decorating, but actually nobody sees them, besides a few screenshots on Reddit or Facebook. So yeah, that's how the whole idea of making YouTube videos came into existence. And I guess all of you know that I make my asset update videos, and there I have a script. So before I record my voice, the text I say in the video, I write everything down, even with things like yeah, or these little words that you say when you don't know what to say, so these gap fillers. I even wrote them down. That's why these videos still sound a bit a bit boring maybe, because I have two screens and I really read the texts, even though I try to make it sound as natural as possible, but still you can hear that it is that I read it. Yeah, that's how I normally do it. Okay, back to what I'm doing here. Or basically I was just decorating the river. Now that's an idea I got from all these power lines here. That's an idea I got from the German YouTuber HMS. I don't know if he watches my videos. If so, thanks for the idea, man. That's just awesome. He is or he works as a train driver, as I understood it. So he knows he really knows what rails look like. My screen turned black. Thank you. He really knows what rails look like, and he placed these power lines on the catenaries. Who knows? And when I saw that, I noticed, yeah, well, that's how they really look. And yeah, so I basically copied the idea of him. So if you watch this, thanks. If not, but if someone of you know him, you can also say thanks on my stat. Now here I'm placing a few power lines because that's also a common sight in Germany on the flat land, or on these regions, areas, however you want to call it, that there are power lines through forests, and of course beneath them or directly next to them all the trees have to be cut. Does that sound right? I guess. Have to be cut because they are not supposed to get in conflict with the leaves of the trees, which makes sense. So I also did this, and in the end I really yes, it turned out pretty good, I would say. Here? Oh, no. Why not? The video is called, or we should start with the crossing, but we're still detailing the river. Do we start now? Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's still a bit of foliage just placing all over the place. And when I saw this picture, I thought, there need to be this, let me start in another way. In German, on German rail crossings, rail crossings, most of them are pretty old. So they were built in the late 1800s, when all the train connections in Germany were built. And so back then there had to be a person that every time a train comes lowers the barrier, this thing that blocks the cars from driving into the train. Let's just call them barriers. I know the word, but I forgot it. So yes, so there had to be this person that guards the rail crossing, and I thought I also have to do that, because it's especially around cities, or when there are trains with a lot of when there are tracks with a lot of trains, most of them have this little house, and I used the vanilla house. Yes, it's hard to say, but the house I used, where is it? There. This house, it actually could be taken from real life and transferred into the game, because most of those houses really do look exactly like that. And when you prop it up and remove all these ugly, horrible vanilla props, it actually looks kind of good. If you not zoom in, of course. And yeah, and then around the house I placed a garden with toys for children and a terrace and all of that. And I also think it turned out pretty good. What I don't really like is the high grass you see next to the street. There on the lower border of the screen. I might change it in the future, but to be honest, I think the whole area will be remade in the future. It will be remade? Will be remade, sorry, in the future. And then we have that house will stay there. I would fight with my life to defend that house, because I think it really looks good. But the surroundings there might be some of my cube houses, the smaller ones with only one floor, to have a more believed area, an area where more people live, because it is just a few minutes outside of the city center, and it doesn't make sense to have no people living there but this one family here. And here I detailed the garden. I again used some vanilla stuff, but if you cover with nice, even vanilla stuff can look good. And yeah, I really like these little details, tires that lay on the parking space on the entry of the whole lot, and a few benches and the trampoline and so the sandbox. I really like that. Now a bit illumination for the crossing. In the end I deleted it because it was a bit too much, and at least for now the crossing really is on the let's say more uncivilized area, which doesn't make sense to have where it doesn't make sense to have a street light there. Here I made the highway exit and entry. That doesn't really sound right. Here I make the intersection that brings you to the highway, let's say it like that. And yeah, again I did it as best as I could to make it look German. There is this gigantic prop pack on the workshop that is 100 megabytes big, with everything German traffic sign related you can imagine of. Yeah, it looks good, and used it on the rail crossing, the big yellow sign, if you remember. Here on the highway exit, the blue exit signs, and here again in the middle of this traffic aisle, this sign which says highway to the right or Autobahn to the right. Yeah, but I might do my own signs in the future, because on the one side the set is really big. I mean 100 megabytes, that is quite much for a few signs. And yeah, I just would like it more to not have some generic words, some generic places on the signs, but actually Vedastein, this entry. I think that would be quite nice. Here I try to place a bit of these grass planters, grass curbs in the middle of the traffic aisle. In the end I deleted them all, and to this point it still looks like that. Maybe in the future I'll redo the area. Let's see. But we're coming closer to the end, and so for today that's it. I hope you liked this episode. I'm not quite sure about it, to be honest, but I hope you like it. I'll leave you with some nice cinematics of the area we did. Please tell me if you like the episode, what you like to see in the next episode. You see a small teaser at the end of the cinematics, and until the next one, we'll see you next time.